Hey, 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 happy Sunday fun day. Thank you all for joining on this Sunday evening. This is day 7 out of $21 million baby plan series. I am excited to be coming to you all today on this Sunday. I'm not going to be with you for long. As I mentioned yesterday, it is the weekend. So I am going to get in and get out because I'm trying to watch. I'm watching All American. I just started watching it, so I'm probably like on episode 4 of season 1. I know I'm so far behind, but thank you all for joining day 7. Let me get this together. I promise I need a media team because it just be so much going on trying to get on these lives. But thank you all for joining day 7. And today's topic is going to talk about how the other parent matters too. Now, I don't want y'all to get sensitive about this about this subject or this topic, but the other parent does matter. And again, this is not going to be like a relationship debate or anything. This is strictly about protection, a protection conversation that needs to be had between both parents, specifically for their child or children's future. A lot of times parents, don't talk about that, especially if they are not together. They're usually just co-parent and keep it at that. But it's also great to talk about protection and future generational wealth with that other parent when you are trying to create $1 million baby plan. And who knows, you all could pitch in together to make, a bigger $1 million baby plan for their child, or you all can have two separate $1 million baby plans either way, right? And so it works. And thank you all for joining. Come in, come in, come in. I am discussing day 7 of the $1 Million Baby Plan of why the other parent matters too. If this is your first time here, I am LC, the owner of LC Financial Solutions, where we specialize in helping our clients maximize their wealth, minimize their taxes, and master their legacy. And on tonight's episode, we will be discussing that the other parent matters too. And so, a lot of times, as I mentioned, when people think about protection and planning, they only think about themselves and the child. But if there are two parents involved, both parents matter when it comes to the child's stability, right? Because whether the parents are married, together, separated, co parenting, or even just in a situationship, we know how those go, right? Even if the child is in the situationship, the child is still connected to both parents. And if something happens to one parent, whether that's something emotional, financial, routine changes, life changes, there needs to be a conversation had about protection of that child. Again, whether you all are together or not, it still needs to be some type of conversation that needs to be had that protects the child if something happens to either one of you. And not because we are expecting something bad to happen, but again, children need stability and support no matter what that life looks like, right? It could be the father who's the full-time father and something happens and then the mother is not full-time, right? Or even vice versa, where the mother is the full-time parent and the dad is the part-time parent, but something happens to the mother. Now the dad needs to step up. And so if you have these financial protections set in place, again, you are doing it for your child and not just the other parent. Because at the end of the day, as I mentioned in my other videos, the series is really about protecting families, creating options, and thinking ahead for the people that we love. And whether you love that other parent or not, you all are still connected through their child. Because again, children should never have to carry any adult's financial stability, or even when it comes to, again, life changing situations. If something, a prime example for me, if something was to happen to me to where I had a chronic, critical, or terminal illness, and I needed to substitute my finances so my husband could actually take care of the kids and me focus on getting my health better, I have these benefits set in place. And so if something does happen, guess what? Nothing really changes financially for my family right now. Of course, health has to get better, and I have to get better to, get back to what I do normally. But again, nothing financially would change for my family. And so that would help me heal better, because guess what? One, I'm not worried about finances if something happens to me critical, chronic, or terminally. Or even if Jesus said, you know what, today is your last day on this earth, my family will be straight for the next 15 years as long as the money is managed right. And again, getting it through that trust to where I'm like, okay, no, you get this much, this much. If you get another woman, you ain't getting nothing. No, I'm just playing. But again, that other parent matters as well, because even if you all are not together, you can still have a policy on that other parent, which is what I like to preach as well. Get a policy on that other parent, because at the end of the day, even if that other parent is taking care of their child, some whatever you are getting, and once something happens to that parent and you stop getting it, it's going to be a significant difference. So it's nothing wrong with getting a policy on the mother of your child or the father of your child. And again, you will determine how much you want to invest into that policy. If you say, hey, you know what, I want to get a policy on the father of my child, and I want to get a 30-year term policy and have it at $150,000. If something was to happen to that parent, then guess what? All of that money comes to you. And so now, you don't have to worry about what you're actually going to do without that parent. Thank you all for joining. I am discussing that other parents matters too when it comes to creating $1 million baby plan. As I mentioned before, I'm not going to keep you all long. It is Sunday Fun Day. A lot of you all are getting ready for the week, just like myself. I was really tempted to not get on, but I'm like, you know what? Let me stay dedicated not only to this challenge, but to myself in discipline, and continue to do these 21 days straight, and not just 21 days and stop because maybe it's the weekend, or, people may not be tuning in. I see people hopping in and out. Again, this conversation is about being the other parent, and having that other parent matters too, because again, protection matters for that child. Financial stability matters for that child. And again, if you get a policy on the other parent and you are paying for that, then you are the owner of that policy. And so if something happens 30, 40 years down the line and you and the parent is not together, you can still own that policy. And if something does happen, guess what? That money comes to you. That's tax free money. Why not? Why not? We all know in today's world, sometimes parents are not as active in their child's life as they should be. Sometimes other parents may not even have the other parent that's active, or he comes and goes when he feels, or she comes and goes when she feels. And so, if you can get on the protection talk with them and say, hey, we need to protect our child, we need to do this for the better of our child, why not? Because guess what, it's not costing the other parent a dime for you to get protection on them. And so I'm not going to make this long. As I mentioned before, I just wanted to come to you all tonight to talk about protection of the other parent. Not only do you need protection for you and yourself, you and yourself, that's the same person, right? Not only do you need protection for yourself and your child or your children, but you also need protection as well for that other parent. So again, you can have that substituted income. Like I said, it won't hurt to get a term policy to where you can almost get $200,000, 30-year term policy, depending on, their health, for maybe $30 to $50 a month. If you are curious to see what those policies can look like in an affordable policy to where it's not costing you nothing but a Chick-fil-A meal, go ahead and send me a DM. You can send me the word parent, and then we can go ahead and set up a free non-obligated consultation just to see what your options are and what that looks like for your budget. If you're interested in a $1 million baby plan, you can go ahead and send me a DM to say baby. Again, we can set you up with a consultation just to see your options, because it's one thing to know that you need something, but it's another thing to actually see exactly what you need and actually how it can fit in your budget, and to also show you a tangible number that you can have set in place. And so you can say, you know what, I'm glad you showed me these numbers. Let's go ahead and get this policy, because at the end of the day, we all need protection. We cannot talk about generational wealth if we do not start with protection of our children and creating these $1 million baby plans, again, as a tax free strategy for you to implement into your family to build generational wealth now and for later. As I mentioned before in a previous live, we are the old new money. If you want old new money, you need a $1 million baby plan. Thank you all for tuning in today on day 7 of the $1 million baby plan series. I'm pretty excited. Day 7 out of 21, so I'm gonna keep it going. And at the end of the day, as I mentioned before, the series is about protecting families, creating options, and thinking ahead of for the people that we love. Because again, we need protection. If we love our family, we need to protect our family. So tonight's question that I am going to leave you all with is: have you and the other parent ever had a real conversation about protection and planning? Because typically avoiding this conversation doesn't stop life from happening, right? Again, we typically don't like to handle things until it needs to be handled, but we need to plan and protect not only for ourselves, but for our children's future. And if you want information on child coverage or family coverage, again, please feel free to send me a DM. We can go ahead and get you on the books. We can get you scheduled so you all can see options. Go ahead and like this live, share this live if you know anyone who may be interested, or again, if you just want to hear your options out, go ahead and send me a DM, and I will see you all tomorrow at 7:30, same time. I'm trying to keep this time the same, even though I'm thinking about changing it. But as of right now, it's going to be for 7:30 tomorrow night. Again, thank you all for tuning in on this Sunday fun day to listening about the Parents Matter 2 in the $1 Million Baby Plan series. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Stay blessed, drink your water, stay hydrated, and don't forget to stretch. Y'all have a great evening.